Welcome back to the Jonestead. I'm Mary. Today is Friday, October 3rd, 2025. And today I'm going to talk again about data centers. And I've done a previous video specifically on this topic. This morning when I was reading Zero Hedge, I came across this particular article, and it's titled Data Centers are the primary reason for high PJM capacity prices according to Market Monitor. And I also came across, I kind of Googled the topic, or whatever you want to call it now, these days, and came across a couple other headlines that I thought I'd share with you. One was from E&E News. Data center boom sparks sticker shock for PJM ratepayers. The other from Institute for Energy Research. States are concerned about rising electricity prices. And on Utility Drive specifically, it said, load from data centers drove up revenue in the PJM's interconnection last capacity auction by $7.3 billion, or 82%, to $16.1 billion. And this gets passed on to the residents because these the utility companies are required to build infrastructure to meet growing demand of these facilities. And there are some discussions going on to mitigate that, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But after reviewing this article, number one, I was wondering, well, what is PJM? And I'm sure you all that are smarter than me probably know what it is, but I will share what I found out. And PJM stands for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland Interconnection. And this is the organization that operates the electric transmission system for all or part of 13 states, including the District of Columbia. And those states are Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. And specifically, PJM holds capacity auctions, and the most recent one led to double-digit bill increases for some utility customers in PJM's footprint. And a capacity auction, and so they run these what are called capacity auctions, which I was not familiar with that term either. And so specifically, a capacity auction is the process where energy providers bid for contracts to supply electricity during peak demand periods. This process ensures enough power is available when we need it the most and helps determine the most affordable peak demand suppliers. The main goal is to improve grid reliability and prevent future power outages. Capacity prices are a cost that is ultimately paid for by electricity consumers. And these price costs surged in PJM's last two capacity auctions and are expected to surge even more because there were some caps. There was a cap agreement in this last auction that kept the surge lower than it would have been without. But if that cap is not part of the next one, then we will see a continuing surge. And part of, I'll read you some from the Zero Hedge article, and specifically it said, Monitoring Analytics contends, quote, it is misleading to say that PJM's recent capacity market results simply reflect the tightening supply and demand. The current conditions are not the result of an organic load growth, it's stated. Well, duh. But that's what they want you to think, this industry. The current conditions in the capacity market are almost entirely the result of large load additions from data centers, both actual, historical, and forecast. And that is the obvious elephant in the room that they pretend isn't sitting in the corner, which is very unfortunate and misleading as far as the people that are building these data centers. And I go back to the article. In June, the Market Monitor recommended requiring new data centers to supply their own generation instead of tapping into the existing power supplies in PJM. And the impact And then it continued on this particular topic. This is where I talked about in the last video. They have been putting the cart before the horse with these data centers. They are pushing and pushing to get them built before anyone's asking too many questions about them. And with any other development, people, every impact is assessed through environmental, through transportation, through water impact, through the strain on the electrical grid. And for whatever reason, these data centers are getting a brush over with that. And even when people are showing up to the board meetings to object to them and to have questions answered, they are being brushed aside, which is very concerning. And they're just plowing ahead with these data centers, and we're seeing their impacts as far as them draining the water supplies and it affecting the power grid. And so that's going to have, and they just keep continuing on with them. And now we're seeing not only are they affecting the power grid, but they're affecting everybody's wallets that are in these markets. And in Virginia, I'm in Virginia, we have, particularly in Northern Virginia, the impacts of these data centers is really significant and really impacting residential areas. And then in conclusion of the article, it said the impact of data center development on PJM's auction results will increase sharply in the 2028-2029 base capacity auction scheduled for June, when max and minimum price caps expire, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. Separately, the Union of Concerned Scientists this week found that utility ratepayers in PJM will pay about $4.4 billion in data center related transmission projects that were approved with similar results expected this year. So in conclusion, with this report, I wanted to share this information with you all. I thought it was really important and interesting. This article just kind of came out, and then it was just simply seemed to be buried away as the day went on. But I wanted to take the time to understand what it meant and what the different terms were for myself, and so that I could then share that information with you all, and to make sure that we are informed about these data centers and the impacts that they're having financially and environmentally. And it is kind of interesting how quiet the environmentalists have been about all this. Because usually they are very vocal about pretty much any development. So that's kind of something to think about. But anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you found this helpful. And please subscribe. It's free. And like and share. And have a great day. Look forward to talking to you again soon.